Well, hi, everyone. All entrepreneurs can learn from my next guest, Suzanne Buckley, in the Entrepreneurs Who Work from Home series. She's an expert in helping communities thrive, and there's so much value in what she shares. Hey, I'm Gale Bates, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I post videos every week on work-life balance, accountability, and productivity, making it fun and simple for entrepreneurs like you who work from home, as well as the interviews with entrepreneurs from around the world who work their business one day at a time, just like you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified when new episodes drop, especially if you're an entrepreneur looking for practical advice from others navigating business and life. So, my guest today, Suzanne Buckley, hails from Wales in the United Kingdom, and she is an online community specialist. She helps business owners create vibrant, engaged communities without the overwhelm. And she brings, such deep expertise to her work and focuses on keeping communities feeling like home. That's what her aim is. So in this interview, she shares incredible insights, including how she balances work and life with 4 teenage daughters, the biggest marketing challenges she faces, which many of us solo entrepreneurs can really relate to, and a powerful new community platform called Skool, which I know you're going to be really interested in. But Suzanne's positive energy and deep knowledge make her an inspiring entrepreneur to learn from. So I know you're going to love this conversation. Well, hey, Suzanne, welcome. Welcome to the Entrepreneurs Who Work from Home series. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Gail. I'm really excited to chat. I'm really excited to be here. And I'm really excited to just to share some of our experiences.
Yes, that's great. And all the way from Wales, which is really
That's right.
You're in Wales and I'm in Hawaii, and it's amazing how we all connect.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? Incredible.
And that's what we do as entrepreneurs who work from home online. We connect with people around the world, and I love it. So I would love to ask you today to kick this off is talking a little bit about your typical day. What does your daily routine look like, and how do you prioritize tasks? What does it look like for you?
Yeah, sure. So we're kind of a little bit of a different family. So we've got 4 girls between 13 and 20, and we homeschool the younger 3. Our eldest works from home as well. She's got her own little remote business. So all 6 of us are at home together a lot. So getting up and going, we don't have work runs, we don't have school runs. It's just all very kind of, the girls have classes, but quite slow going in the mornings. But I find that I do my most productive work, my deep work, between 8 and 10 a.m. So I just leave the girls to get on with it. And I'll get something to eat, have my cup of tea, and then I get going sort of 8 o'clock. Sometimes it's in my pajamas. I'll just sit down on my computer and get going. Sometimes I'll get ready for work, I suppose, and then do my deep work. But that works really well for me. I find I tend to work in blocks as well. So after about an hour, I've had enough. I need to change posture. I need to go and do something different, change activity. So most of my clients are based in North America. So my mornings, I know that my brain works better in the morning, but my schedule also works better for me to do deep work in the morning because my clients are still sleeping. So I tend to have, my days are fairly flexible. So some days I don't have client live work to do. Other days I run calls for my clients or I have team meetings, that kind of thing. So my days kind of ebb and flow a little bit, and I just find a rhythm with it. Some days we can have family sort of dinner around the table. Other days I'm kind of turning my camera off on a client call and eating my dinner while I'm doing it. It's just the way it goes, But if I'm working kind of like on a Saturday, or if I'm working in an evening, we'll try and work family life around that, which is another good thing with homeschooling. We're not tied to sort of that school day. So just kind of with different clients, it's ebbed and flowed a little bit over the years. I've been doing this for sort of nearly 5 years, and it's changed and evolved.
So you're basically talking with your clients and helping them with their communities, right?
That's right. Yeah. So some of my clients come to me so I work with one-to-one clients who want their communities managed. And I also do sort of what I'd call sort of more remote support. So they can buy a Voxer package. So they have access to me for 30 days, or they can buy a monthly package and I'll just pop in and out. Some clients come to me for sort of strategy when they're thinking about setting up a community. Some want an audit. They're like, my engagement's not what I'd like it to be. I want to pivot a little bit. I'm not quite sure what I need to do. So I'll do like a one-off audit. But yeah, my one-to-one clients are kind of, they're sort of on a longer term basis. I have a monthly package that I do with them. And I'm in their communities.
Great. So, today you told me, I know you're moving house. Okay.
We are. Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about do you have a separate office, your workspace set up? Will you in your new home? How's that going to work for you?
Yeah. So in this ad, I'm currently sitting at my 13-year-old's desk. These are her crochet flowers that her older sister made for her. So this is not my standard office decor. It's the beauty of remote working, isn't it? Flexible working. I've got my laptop. I just go in somewhere where I can shut a door and I've got a surface. But my optimal workspace here at home, I've got a large curve monitor. I've got a standing desk, an electric standing desk, so I can go, I can change my position every 20 minutes if I wanted to. I've got like quite expensive sort of office gaming chair, postural chair. So those things, sort of the ergonomics of it, we've worked quite hard. We've spent probably most money on the ergonomic setup. I love the curve monitor, so I can have multiple windows open on one screen. That works really well for me. I need, in our home that I've been working in, we've got a separate room downstairs that's got a glass panel door in it. And that leads into our sort of main living space, which is open plan. So some of the time the door's open, the kids come and go. If I'm doing more deep work or I'm on client calls, the door's shut. There might be a little sticky note on the door that says no. Or don't come in or something. But my kids, they're all older, so they understand kind of, it's not like when they were little and I'd have to do, sort of 25-minute blocks and sort of almost train them that, okay, in 25 minutes you can talk to me sort of thing. So
And I think it's so important, especially for entrepreneurs who have kids at home. You have to really work around that. It's like you've transitioned from the 25 minutes to the, right? Because now
exactly. Now they're a bit older, they can go a bit longer and they can get their own, food and drink. And, if they get stuck with something, it's not as tricky. But I'm really lucky that I work with, I've kind of fallen into clients who are very accommodating and very accepting of family life. One of my clients, all of her members are families, they're homeschoolers. And we quite often have extra people on calls, when the kids come in to say hello or the baby's there or whatever. So I've found clients and started working with clients who are very accepting, which is great. But we have far fewer interruptions now that my children are in their teens.
And how did it happen that you have most of your clients are in North America and not in the United Kingdom?
I think historically, I think historically in the last sort of 10 years that online communities have been much more of a thing for American and Canadian entrepreneurs. That's been my experience. So it's been much harder to find entrepreneurs at an income level, like a business size level, who need community support. I think that's less of an issue now. The last couple of years, particularly, I guess since the pandemic and stuff, online communities have exploded into something massive, and lots of business owners and coaches are realizing the potential of an online community. But I think that's kind of, there've always been online communities over here. Absolutely. As long as the internet's existed. But I think in terms of the financial commitment to hiring somebody, even somebody fractionally to work with your community, I think North America has kind of been ahead of the UK and Europe in that sense.
Interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. So do you have, working in your business, and it sounds to me like, you know exactly the times of day when you need to be working. What challenges do you face when you're, it sounds to me like you've got it all worked out, but do you have any challenges?
No. Plenty. I think for me personally, things like the focus and the distraction is a big one. I love the flexibility of working from home and being remote. I've worked, I worked in frontline healthcare for 15 years, and it's very different being able to be at home and kind of, just live a slightly what I would class as slower life. But I think there are challenges around. So for me, and I know kind of we connected through a community that was very much about sales and marketing and really cool. It's a huge challenge for me. I'm a shy introvert. I've never run a business before this. I have no business background, no entrepreneurial family connections. Yeah. So I've been learning very much from the ground up and having to build a business from scratch, which has been a challenge, and learning how to market, even in a non-sleazy, ick-free, we've talked about, in that kind of a way has been tricky for me, I think. It doesn't come naturally. So that's been a big challenge, because most of my clients come through word of mouth. I think with community, people want a recommendation because they want someone they can trust. They're not going to give their members over to anybody. And so word of mouth has been a really sort of beneficial way for me to get hold of clients. But obviously, I need to be working on my own client pipeline and marketing at the same time. So yeah, that's probably my biggest challenge. That and being able to just close my computer. I'm not great at, especially with clients up late. Yeah.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think you're not alone in the fact that sales and marketing is probably one of the hardest and the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs who work from home, because usually, even if we're extroverts, it's still a matter of finding the right clients. And it does go back to myself being in the coaching world for many years. Most of my clients have come through referrals, and I think that is a big part of it. Yeah. But it's a challenge. Yeah. It's a big road out there. Yeah. Yeah. You and I worked together that's how we met, through a mastermind that we're involved in. And we talk a lot about revenue generating activities. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs tend to spend too much time doing the busy work. And so could you give us a couple of revenue generating activities that you utilize in your business?
Yeah, sure. So this has definitely been like that mastermind, even in the short time, was quite an incredible learning experience for me. So the whole thing of kind of structuring how I view the activity that I'm doing around my business, because I'm terrible for busy work. It's like, oh yeah, that's me. I've been at my computer all day, but actually what have I done that's generated revenue or generated the potential for revenue? And that really kind of challenged me, I think. So one of the big things that I've done recently is I'd moved some clients over to Skool.com. So it's a new community platform, relatively new. And it's a really different sort of platform. So there's a main community in there. If you own and are paying for a community on their platform, you get access to a couple of different communities that are huge. And I've been doing some networking in there with people. I actually went to my first in real life meetup a couple of weeks ago in Belfast, which was really like not at all like me and really exciting, and met up with a few of the guys that kind of are working on Skool, which I've really enjoyed. They were absolutely brilliant people. And I got a couple of referrals through that. I've also been kind of, just sort of, I suppose you call it work in the room in one of the communities there. So when there's new people have joined and they're like, I don't know what to do, or I'm stuck with this, how do you do this? Just kind of sharing some expertise, and just for free, if it comes to something brilliant. If it doesn't, then, you've helped somebody. And I think there's a real sense in that community in Skool that this is what community building is about, that we support each other, that we encourage each other, that we help each other to progress and do better. So I think the one thing that I learned from that mastermind was actually that networking can look really different. It doesn't have to just be going and meeting people with a cup of instant coffee and an awkward silence kind of pervading the room, which is how it feels to me. I'm not very good at those kind of things. So, but also that in real life, meetups are actually, they don't have to be like that. They can be really enthusiastic and deep conversations. And so I think that's my 2025 focus.
Well, you introduced me to Skool, and I think it's a fabulous place, and it's something I'm working on myself in the future.
Brilliant.
What I think is so impressive about Skool is that the people in the groups can get to know each other.
Yeah.
To me, that's so far ahead of any of the other platforms that are offering this kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I'm really impressed with it. I think I kind of held off going onto it for quite a while because I was quite skeptical, because I'd seen some of the advertising and I was a bit like, oh, it's not my thing. And a client said to me, okay, I'm thinking about this. Can you investigate? And I'd already learned a bit about it. But I've absolutely loved it. I've been on there since September. I think we moved over. I've moved another client over since then. So I've moved over like 4 or 5 communities. I'm working with a couple of other people, sort of with more sort of like remote supervision type support. But yeah, it's the community. The whole platform is built around the community, and any sort of content resources, that sort of thing, is an added bonus. It's almost a bit peripheral. And they encourage you to do, so lots of the communities do lots of calls, like live calls, where people can connect and chat. But in the community, it's much easier than a Facebook group, say, to see what's going on and to follow conversations. You can tag, you can organize the posts. I really like its simplicity. Yeah, I'm excited.
I think other entrepreneurs who might be interested in learning about it can connect with you as well to learn more.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll be leaving your information in the description below. So if they do want to connect.
That's great. Yeah, definitely.
Well, we kind of covered a little bit, but I do want to talk a little bit about collaboration and communication. How do you stay connected or visible? I mean, what is the way you stay connected with people?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's going to sound like a cliche because I'm a community specialist, but community is really key for me. So ever since I started my business, I've always managed to have a business coach of some type, whether it's group coaching or one-to-one coaching. And all of those coaches I've worked with have had a community of some sort. So for me, that's been really key. I love kind of hanging out with people who are further ahead than me, or who've got expertise in different areas, like the mastermind we're in with, sales and marketing. That is totally my weak area, but that mastermind was so good for me because it challenged me to think differently, and it showed me different ways of doing things, which is really exciting. I wouldn't have had that had I not been exposed to that community. I'm really lucky that my clients, obviously they all have communities, but they're kind of, although I'm team, I also get to sit in on things and kind of, be part of things alongside that. So I work really hard to make sure that I'm always plugged into some kind of a community, whether that's an in real life one for my local area, or whether that's an online community linked with a business coach, or whether that's people that I've connected with in something that I've joined as a member. And I'm very much a part of more than a handful of business communities, whether that's specific to my niche, or whether that's entrepreneurs, or whether that's mums who work, there's all, so I try and kind of stay, because there's always the challenge in a community. There's always a little bit of kind of iron sharpens iron, learning sort of interactions. People will give feedback and experience. So I think that's the value. Yeah, that's the value that I
think that is so important, is to staying connected. And the word community, isolation is one of the biggest obstacles.
Absolutely.
So you have to really reach out. And even like you said, it doesn't have to be, maybe it's not a business community. Maybe it's a group where you're knitting or your book club.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think
definitely.
All part and parcel of having those conversations outside of getting to know people, basically.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it is, it's not shrinking your world so that it becomes all about the business.
Right.
So it's, if you were doing a 9 to 5, you would have a book club or a parents teachers association or a library group that you meet up with, or go to the gym and meet your friends, so you would still have that. You can find that online or in real life, offline. And I love, for me, I can do that in and out of my day. So I don't have to wait till 5 o'clock and then I'm kind of trying to catch up with people or things or activities.
Right, exactly.
I can just go through my week. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We can do a book club at noon, if we
absolutely.
Want. Yeah. I
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why we're entrepreneurs, right? That's why we love what we do, because we're in control of our own body.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. So I'm going to switch things up here a little bit and ask you a little bit about how you set goals. Do you have any kind of process of how you set your goals, break them down and talk, into steps? What does that look like?
Sure. Yeah. So a kind of big picture approach. I recently, in the last few years, have discovered a concept called wintering. And I read a book by somebody and I love the concept. So I find the UK winter's quite tough. The days are short, the dark, the UK weather's rubbish. You're kind of all hunkered down.
Oh,
and
I lived in the UK for 2 years.
Well, there you go. So you know what our winters can be like. They're not harsh. I've got friends in Canada and they're nothing like that, but they're just short days and it's very grey and, it can feel like it goes on. And I think I had an epiphany when I read that book and I was like, actually, winter isn't a time to set goals. It's why do we try and do everything for January or, right. That kind of thing. And actually spring for me is even now, we're seeing daffodils popping up and, the flowers and the days are lengthening. We've just yesterday had our first day where sunrise is before 8 a.m. and sunset is after 5 p.m. And I'm kind of like having a little party, So it's those kind of things. So I've kind of got to the point where I'm like, I'm not doing it. So come March the 1st, I'll have built up to, okay, this is when I'm going to launch things. So over winter, I'm kind of hibernating, I'm digging in a bit, I'm nurturing kind of ideas and playing with ideas and things. And then come spring, that's when I'm ready to either launch something or to start something new or to really kind of dive back into, I suppose, life outside of winter. So that's a big one for me, wintering. I only set quarterly goals, so I don't set annual goals. I look at, so my business is still small, so I don't need to be too much long-term thinking. So I try and set quarterly goals because things can change so much and so quickly in 3 months. And I use, one of a business coach that I've worked with, she taught me the wheel of life. So I use the wheel, like a form of the wheel of life. So I've adapted it to kind of suit what I want it to be. But it basically covers those core categories, sort of with business being one of a number of categories. So I try and do sort of quarterly goals that are focused like holistically, I suppose, that include family and a home and exercise and health and, as well as business. Yeah. So those are my kind of 3 key things around goals.
I love it. I think that's a really interesting concept. The wheel of life. Yeah, I haven't looked at that in a long time, but that is a really great way to look at it. And I'm with you. I think 90-day goals are where we need to be in this day and age. And I'm a big proponent of that as well. Yeah. What about how do you continue to grow as an entrepreneur? What kind of professional development advice would you give other entrepreneurs?
I think because I've always been part of, so when I worked in frontline healthcare, you have supervision to make sure that ethically, clinically, everything's going okay, but then also to look at professional development. And I think one of my big things, like I said earlier, is hanging out with people that are further on than me or people who have different ideas or perspectives. I like to think of myself as really good at listening. And I think you can learn so much from listening to people. I think active listening is brilliant, asking questions, engaging. But I think sometimes I just have to stop and kind of just listen to what somebody's explaining or talking about, particularly if it's someone with a way more experience than me usually, or a completely different outlook on life, or totally different experiences. I think there's so much to be gained from that. I think I've always been lucky that I've been in offline communities that were multi-generational. And I think, you know, the wealth of knowledge and kind of laughs that I've gained from connecting with people who are significantly older than me, as well as now with my kids, you know, who are teenagers and who bring all of this different sort of outlook on things. So that's been a big one for me. And I think I gravitate towards people who are leaders, but also nurturers. So my clients tend to be visionaries and strategists. They'll be action takers. And they don't want to get into the nitty gritty, which is why they bring in someone like me to look after their people, but they absolutely love their people. They nurture their people. And I think for me, I kind of hang on to the coattails of those sorts of people, because I feel like I've got so much to learn from them in terms of they have different skill sets. Plus I have a to be read pile of books that's like as high as the ceiling. So yeah. And I'm forever reordering them depending on what I feel like is the priority at any given time. So
Exactly. And then on the whole, somebody will mention one, like, oh my God, I got to get that one right.
Yeah. I've missed that one somewhere.
You add that to the pile, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. And then what do you do for self-care? How do you, what is the downtime for you? I know you're busy with kids, you're busy with your business, but how do you know?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I'm working on and trying to get better at. So we're really lucky where we live. We live on the coast. So I love getting to the beach, to the front. We've got a dog, we've got a greyhound. So, you know, she doesn't need lots of exercise, but she does need exercise. So that gets us out sort of for a walk every day. Winter's definitely harder. So we've worked quite hard with our girls the last few years. Things like we have a hot chocolate bar. So it has at the weekend, it has extra things on it, you know, and just little things that are kind of more normal routine life rather than moving away from work as such, I suppose. Just kind of trying to get creative with some of those things. That's worked really well for us.
Well, you're a huge busy life with kids and, what did you say the ages were?
They're 13, 16, 17 and 20.
That's huge. That's big.
They're amazing though. They are amazing.
A lot of work. Yeah. I love it. So if you had one piece of advice for entrepreneurs, what would it be? What would you like to share with other entrepreneurs?
I think the biggest one for me is work out what works for you and then give it a go. So for me, I wish somebody had told me right at the beginning that I don't have to replicate what someone else is doing, that, you know, a brick and mortar business looks very different than an online business, and that I can adapt it and shape it to fit what I need it to be. Yeah. And yes, there's a requirement to serve my clients well, and to meet their needs and to hold to my contracts. But at the same time, that can look completely different to the next person. Right. So I think, I'd come from an employment background. So I was kind of like, well, I have to be at my computer at 9 and I have to work till 5. And you're like, actually, no, just go with it and see what happens. Try things and listen to people and see what other people are doing and find the kind of the wacky and weird people out there who are doing their own thing and then go for it. I think that's my biggest thing that I wish that somebody had said at the beginning. I'm not sure I would have heard it. I might have heard it, but I didn't listen. I wouldn't have listened to it. But yeah, I think for me, it's just be you and find a way to make your business fit you.
And I think that's great advice. I think that's excellent advice for other entrepreneurs. So tell us a little bit about your business, where people can connect with you. I think you have a lead magnet that we can put in the description below that talks about community issues and how people can connect with you. So tell us a little bit more about all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my business is all about, obviously online community. I work with clients in a range of ways, like I said, sort of one-to-one for people who want somebody in their community. I do that fractionally. So I work with a number of clients at the same time. And I really enjoy the variety of that. But I also offer other things, which I can kind of go into a bit more on my website. I've got an email list people can sign up for, but my main kind of focus at the moment is my Skool community, which is called the Community Foundry. And if you join there, it's free at the moment. It won't be free forever, but it's free at the moment. There's some really great people in there who are running their own communities, who are wanting to create communities. There's freebies, there's resources, there's video content in there as well, some sort of really short form trainings. I have a series called The Community Cuppa, which you can read or watch while you're having a brew. Very British.
I love it.
Yeah, and I have a lead magnet that is just for your viewers, listeners, readers.
Yeah. Okay, and we will put all of that down in the description below. So.
Thanks.
Well, great. This has just been so great, Suzanne. So great to chat with you and learn more about your business. And you've given some great advice to some entrepreneurs who are going to be watching this today. So thank you so much for being on with us today in this Work From Home series.
No, thank you, Gale. It's been amazing. Thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm really excited to connect with your viewers and listeners. That's ace. Thank you.
Wouldn't you love to have Suzanne handle your community? She's such a warm and vibrant expert who truly cares about helping her clients thrive. One of my favorite takeaways from this conversation was the powerful question she asks herself daily. What have I done today that's generated revenue or potential revenue? You know, as entrepreneurs, it's so easy to get caught up in the busy work, right? But this question really keeps us focused on real business growth. So I would recommend that you write that question down. I also love to advise about spending time with people and actively listening. Such a great way to learn and grow. And if you're thinking about creating a community, be sure to check out the Skool platform. That's Skool, because Suzanne has an affiliate link available for you, which you will be able to connect with her in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring interviews that are coming up to this channel every week. And I'll see you in the next video.